Welcome to Filmscination. My name is Samantha, and I talk about movies and I give you my own opinion whether to watch a movie or not. And if you are new to my channel, go ahead by clicking the subscribe button, liking this video for extra brownie points, and comment down below to hear your thoughts on the movie. Today's movie review is based on the 2013 Her, directed by Spike Jonze. Short story long, Dio, a divorcee, ends up falling in love with an AI assistant computer in the era of futuristic smash with 70s outfits. So let's break down this movie by pros and cons in sections. So let's start with the discussion. Pros. In the casting rating, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars for the following reason. Cast. Joaquin Phoenix, as most of us know, he usually plays down to earth characters and sometimes out of their element. He portrays Theo in a very awkward, down to earth kind of guy, and he pulls through most, if not all, scenes of Theo in a confused manner and not overly acted out. For example, a quite simple conversation about his relationship with Samantha is very moving, and not just the words are spoken, but the motion behind each movement of his body speaks loudly without much excitement. And next cast member is Scarlett Johansson playing Samantha. As I heard her talk, I knew it was her playing the AI assistant. Her voice is unique, and glad they had picked her as the voice. It was very soothing to my ears, so imagine the character hearing her voice. How she slowly had the character voice grow with each scene and with the mimicking of the sounds of Theo would make or any other human she interacted with along the film. And lastly, Amy Adams, who portrayed Amy, oddly enough easy for her to remember. Anyway, she really pulled through of being Theo's friend, and how down to her as well made the character feel, as we can relate to her situation. When the character was getting a divorce as well, she did not cry her eyes out, more than just simply played a normal human being with no overly done acting, not over too much drama. And felt as she let the guard down and just left so much raw in the performance. And moving on to the next pro, it's the screenplay. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and the screenplay was written by Spike Jonze. And alright, here's where everything was done right in my own opinion. If you disagree, let me know down below. So let's discuss. How did you get a screenplay of a romantic relationship with a computer and not make it weird? This movie pulled through the whole way. In the beginning, we see Theo works in a company that writes letters for other people, and we notice that he does have hope for others but not for himself. And we move on to in his bedroom, ready to fall asleep and connecting himself with a girl on the phone for some kinky stuff. And it starts off with it's a little weird in having a conversation with someone but not knowing them put us into what the fuck moment. It was just weird. And finally, he discovers a new technology system, which is the AI assistant named Samantha. The chemistry they bring along the movie is intense and weird, but seems more natural than the conversation he had before, and we just seem to connect with others in person better. And this movie portrays that the conversation, getting to know someone, is more important than how they look. And Theo has no idea how Samantha will look if she has a body, but simply falls for her personality. And my idea is this: AI were created to have others realize that connection in person is much more necessary. Samantha merely just molded to the ideals of Theo. How he breathed, reacted to other emotions. His insecurities were projected on her in different manners, but nonetheless insecurities, and showed Theo the beauty of the world. For example, when Samantha asks what he sees in a family in the scene, a guessing game essentially, when she sees black and white in the beginning, Theo says, no, it's more than what you see. Yes, they seem happy, but there has been sadness, and the guy brought back happiness. And as the movie keeps progressing, you notice Samantha starts to do the same. In the end, to tie it all, we see how he gets so desperate and lost without her, and just like the intensity that he puts into the character. And she's merely a computer, and humans need human interaction to survive. 2020 kind of taught us that. And moving on, I gave cinematography production design a 4 out of 5 stars. And so the last pro of it is cinematography done by I can't pronounce it. Production design by Kate Barrett. I put these two sections together because at times it's hard to pull these apart. And production design was nicely just of having the color schemes of very futuristic, but not following the usual white and plain outlooks, because the screenplay already had dry and right emotions. And the office environment where Theo works consisted of that happiness and brightness in order to write love letters. Theo's apartment very empty and plain colors, describing the outlook and the processing of getting divorced. The disorganized living room with boxes just as he just moved in. But it's explaining to us that it has been months since the separation. You do not see much that is going much for him anyways. And let's talk about the view he has from his bedroom. It's perfect to convey the emotion of he sees the world, but not the beauty within. Yet, until Samantha comes along. We see him walking around these places and she's pushing him to get courage to see the hope and the wonderful it is to live on this earth. And now cinematography just helps us so much more to show the production design and all these angles and close-ups where they're at the right moment. The moment when he makes love to Samantha, we see the camera straight on him and then goes black because we simply just hear them making love. And it's just whoa, hold on. But it's beautiful in a way, and honest, I was weirded out for a second, but that moment just went past me to appreciate the rawness of it. And as well, just felt the camera draw the amount of movements in certain scenes of him simply talking to Samantha, like the scene, the beach being surrounded by so many people, and her putting a soundtrack for him to listen to it. He closes his eyes and just being happy again. And obviously there was so much daylight when he was happy, and when he was back to be himself of sadness, there was darkness. And his memories in the beginning are full of light and joy, and then as he falls for Samantha, his presence starts to feel the same way again until the very end. And it goes back to darkness and confusion. But darkness does not always have to mean confusion. If anything, the last scene shows Theo and Amy looking out to the city at night with peacefulness and reassurance things will be okay. And moving on to the con of the movie, only criticism I do have is some of the cinematography. I understand how I just talked wonders about it, but my personal preference is not having a shaky camera in certain scenes. And it did throw me off a bit. In the end, very little scenes they had held in movements, and I'm just not for it. Especially if they are just sitting down reminiscing about their memories. I do not feel it's necessary to handheld anything. And as well, the two actors who played Theo's ex-wife and his co-worker Chris Pratt played the receptionist. Not sure if he was the right actor. He's usually a comedian, and everyone's allowed to change the genre of where they want to be. Just not sure if they were trying to add a bit of comedy for this character or like adding awkward human interactions. Now, his ex-wife in the movie, well, she seems like a total bitch. And yep, it was conquered. But not much fan of hers in this particular movie, and felt as something lacked within her. Not sure what. Maybe because she seemed the only character with actual loud and strong emotions. After my opinion, I will be giving this movie a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So yes, watch this movie if you check the following 3 boxes. Love watching romance, sci-fi mashed together, a fan of Joaquin Phoenix, and love learning about a very important message. You are right for this movie because not everyone will agree together, but who cares what I say? Go ahead and watch the movie regardless. And thanks for listening to my criticism. I very much appreciate it. And well, for more brownie points, like this video and subscribe. Press the notification bell so you're aware when I post up a video. And as usual, stay awesome and peace.